I did my project about the influence of insects and naturalism on Victorian fashion. The main argument of my paper was that its influence was significant not only on Victorian fashion, but also on Victorian culture and art in general. For some background, science during this time was greatly influenced by the Renaissance, which all modern science is based on. The Renaissance was a period of time in Europe from 1300 to 1600 where people began using a systematic investigation of the natural world. The invention of the microscope, or the flea glass, in 1609 started the first up-close observation of insects. Italian naturalist Francesco Stellucci was one of the first to use a microscope to study insects. In this case, he published his studies on honeybees. The Enlightenment also had a great influence on the Victorians' fascination with insects in the natural world. The Enlightenment was a period of time where the importance of reason influenced European society, including theology, science, and politics. Insect collecting became a popular Victorian pastime. Colonialism also had an influence because Europeans were encountering new plants and animals that they had never seen before. During this time, the Entomological Society of London was founded in 1833. During the latter half of the 19th century, the interest in naturalism began bleeding over into art and fashion. This quote from Godey's Lady's Book, written in 1863, talks about the beginning of the fashion trend. The ornithological and entomological fevers, which broke out in last spring, will continue with increased violence throughout the winter. Insects in art in Victorian England was most prominent in decor in the form of taxidermy as well as in jewelry. Victorian women often used lightning bugs in their hair. Like in this illustration, Brazilian beetles and jewel beetles were used as beads. Brooches were made of butterflies and giraffe neck weevils, or, more often, fake insects made of gold and silvers were put onto brooches. Insects were also used in textiles, specifically dresses were very popular. One of the most famous dresses that featured insects is actually a painting by John Singer Sargent from 1889. It depicts famous Shakespearean actress Ellen Terry as Lady Macbeth. Her dress, which was designed by Alice Comyns Carr, is adorned with thousands of green iridescent beetle wings from jewel beetles. The iridescent finish was used to make her look like a serpent. Another famous dress is currently in the collections at the Victorian and Albert Museum. This dress also features jewel beetles, or Burspidae agent, arranged in floral patterns. During this time, there was a lot of influence from Southeast Asia due to colonialism, where they also used jewel beetles to decorate their clothing. The process by which the jewel beetles were applied was very laborious and very expensive. In addition to the aesthetic beauty of these jewel beetle wings, they were also used as a symbol of status, as the person wearing it could afford to be adorned with thousands of very expensive jewel beetle wings. There was also some satire of the abundant use of insects in Victorian fashion. Edward Linley Sanborn, a popular cartoonist, published 20 illustrations called Designs After Nature in the popular magazine called Punch or the London Charivari. He depicted mostly women wearing over-exaggerated clothing with insects and arthropod components. The satire could be simply making fun of the use of insects, or have a deeper meaning criticizing naturalism and science itself. Overall, the use of insects in Victorian fashion was significant, and not only influenced fashion, but also Victorian culture and art.